Level 1 Vindaloo. Most people think Vindaloo is Indian. It's not. At least, it didn't start that way. The story begins on Portuguese ships in the 15th century. Sailors traveling for months needed a way to preserve meat without refrigeration, so they soaked pork in wine and garlic. They called it carne de vinha d'alhos, meat in wine and garlic. Then, in 1498, Vasco da Gama arrived in Goa and brought the recipe with him. But the dish changed once it reached India. The wine had already started turning into vinegar because of the heat during the voyage. Goan cooks kept the idea, but replaced the wine with local palm vinegar. Then they added tamarind, cinnamon, cardamom, black pepper, and other spices growing around them. And finally came the ingredient that changed everything: chili peppers. Ironically, chilies weren't originally Indian either. They came from the Americas through Portuguese trade routes and quickly became popular across India. Goan cooks started adding them generously, turning the dish into the spicy curry we recognize today. Even the name evolved. Vinha dalhos slowly became Vindaloo as the recipe passed through different languages and generations. But here's the surprising part: traditional Goan Vindaloo isn't extremely spicy. Its heat usually ranges from 1,000 to 2,000 Scoville heat units, with a focus on tangy vinegar, garlic, and spices rather than pure heat. The super hot version came later when British soldiers took the recipe back to England, and curry houses overloaded it with extra chili. Today's Vindaloo is the result of 5 centuries of transformation across multiple cultures, and that's exactly what makes it special. Level 2 Jerk Chicken. Jerk chicken wasn't invented in a kitchen. It was invented in the mountains by people running for their lives. In 17th century Jamaica, formerly enslaved Africans escaped British plantations and fled deep into the island's Blue Mountains. They became known as the Maroons, communities constantly hunted by British soldiers. Living in hiding meant survival depended on staying invisible. Open fires created smoke that could be spotted from miles away, so the Maroons developed a new way of cooking. They dug pits into the ground, placed the meat inside, then sealed the heat with leaves and dirt to hide the smoke. For seasoning, they used what grew around them: Scotch bonnet peppers, reaching 100,000 to 350,000 Scoville heat units, wild thyme, ginger, cinnamon, nutmeg, and most importantly, allspice berries from Jamaica's native pimento tree. The result was more than just flavorful. After fighting the British for decades, the Maroons finally signed a peace treaty in 1738, but their cooking methods survived long after the war ended. Today, authentic jerk chicken is still traditionally cooked over pimento wood, the wood of the allspice tree. Jamaican chefs say the wood is just as important as the seasoning because it gives jerk its signature smoky flavor that can't truly be copied any other way. What began as a survival technique in the mountains eventually became the national flavor of an entire island. Level 3 Sichuan Hot Pot. Sichuan Hot Pot does something no other spicy dish does. Before the burning starts, it turns off your mouth. The numbness comes from Sichuan peppercorns. A natural compound inside them called hydroxy-alpha-sanchool creates a buzzing, electric tingling sensation, almost like your mouth has fallen asleep. Then the chili oil hits, and somehow the burning feels even stronger because your mouth is already partially numb. In China, this experience has a name: mala. Ma means numbing, la means spicy. Together they create one of the most intense flavor sensations in the world, often compared to 500,000 plus SHU equivalent heat because of the combination of numbness and chili oil. The dish itself began in 19th century Chongqing at the busy river docks where poor workers cooked with whatever scraps they could afford: organ meat, offal, and tough cuts rejected by wealthy buyers. To make the food taste better, they boiled everything in a communal pot loaded with chili peppers and Sichuan peppercorns. The aggressive seasoning masked the rough quality of the meat while keeping the workers warm during cold nights on the river. Then something unexpected happened. People became addicted to the flavor. In the 1930s, 2 brothers tasted the dockside cooking and opened one of Chongqing's first recorded hot pot restaurants called Ma Zhengxing. Today, hot pot is everywhere. Chongqing alone has tens of thousands of hot pot restaurants, and the dish has spread across the world. What started as survival food for dock workers became one of the most popular communal meals on Earth. Level 4 Doro Wat. There is no single recipe for Doro Wat. Every family in Ethiopia makes it differently. Every grandmother has her own version. The spice blend at the center of the dish, berbers, is often treated like an heirloom recipe, passed through generations and rarely written down completely. Doro Wat is Ethiopia's national dish, a slow-cooked chicken stew built on caramelized onions, spiced butter called niter kibe, and berbero, a powerful blend of chili peppers, garlic, ginger, fenugreek, coriander, and many other spices depending on who's cooking. The heat of authentic Berbere is often compared to around 150,000 to 300,000 Scoville heat units equivalent, but Doro Wat isn't just about spice, it's about depth, and making it takes time. The onions are cooked slowly without oil until they break down into a dark, sweet paste. Then the Berbere goes in, then the niter kibe. The chicken is added last so it absorbs every layer of flavor. The entire process can take hours. That's why Doro Wat is traditionally prepared for holidays, celebrations, and important gatherings. In Ethiopian culture, cooking this dish for someone is considered an act of care because of the effort and patience it requires. Level 5, Tom Yum Goong. Tom Yum Goong looks harmless. The broth is clear. The bowl looks light. Nothing about it at first glance signals danger. That's the deception. Tom Yum Goong is a Thai hot and sour prawn soup built on lemongrass, galangal, kaffir lime leaves, fish sauce, lime juice, and bird's eye chilies. Those small chilies carry serious heat, reaching up to approximately 150,000 to 400,000 Scoville heat units equivalent, depending on how heavily they're used. And in many authentic versions, they're used generously, not carefully. The dish is one of Thailand's most globally recognized foods. In 2011, CNN Travel listed it among the world's 50 most delicious foods. Later, Thailand even promoted Tom Yum as part of its national culinary identity. But outside Thailand, most people never taste the real version. The restaurant-style soup abroad is usually toned down. Fewer chilies, lighter spice, less intensity. In contrast, street vendors in Bangkok often prepare it in a much sharper, more aggressive form that can make first-time visitors sweat before they finish the bowl. What makes Tom Yum Goong unique isn't just heat, it's balanced. Sour, salty, citrusy, spicy, all at once. The heat doesn't sit alone. It cuts through layers of flavor. Even research has looked into it. A study from Kasetsart University in Thailand explored how ingredients like lemongrass, galangal, and chili show potential bioactive properties in laboratory conditions, which has been highlighted in Thai food culture discussions. But beyond science, Tom Yum's reputation is simple. It looks gentle. It tastes anything but. A calm-looking soup that has surprised more travelers than almost any other dish in Thailand. Level 6, Sichuan Mala Xiangguo. Most people know Sichuan Hot Pot. Fewer people know its more dangerous cuisine. Mala Xiangguo, numbing spicy stir-fry pot, takes the same mala flavor profile and removes the one thing that usually keeps it manageable: the broth. Hot pot is liquid. The boiling water dilutes chili oil continuously. In mala Xiangguo, there is no broth at all. Ingredients like meat, vegetables, tofu, and offal are stir-fried directly in concentrated chili oil and mala paste over high heat. Nothing gets diluted. Everything gets coated. The capsaicin stays locked into the food. A standard street version from Chongqing often includes 30 to 50 dried chilies as part of the cooking process, not garnish. The oil itself regularly reaches approximately 800,000 plus Scoville heat units, equivalent in intensity when concentrated through the stir-fry method. Once it's in the pan, there's no escape for the spice. Even locals treat it as a normal meal. Street stalls in Chongqing and nearby Chengdu serve it from morning to late night, and the lunch rush looks identical to dinner. For visitors, the experience is consistent across accounts. The numbness arrives first, then the heat builds, and around 15 to 20 minutes after eating, the full intensity often peaks. Long after leaving the restaurant, it doesn't warn you, it just waits. Level 7, Phaal Curry. Phaal Curry is the only dish on this list where the chef often wears a gas mask while making it. That's not marketing, it's a necessity. The concentrated ghost pepper and Carolina Reaper vapors released during cooking are known to cause eye irritation, coughing, and breathing discomfort in anyone nearby without protection. Phaal wasn't born in India. It was created in 1970s London on Brick Lane by Bangladeshi chefs running curry houses. Customers kept asking for something hotter than Vindaloo, so they built something with no restraint. 10 to 12 whole habaneros and Scotch bonnets per serving. Ghost pepper paste as a base. In extreme versions, Carolina Reaper is added on top. Heat level reaches around approximately 1 million plus Scoville heat units equivalent. One famous version is served at Brick Lane Curry House, where customers are required to sign a waiver before ordering. Those who finish it receive a certificate, a cold drink, and a place on the Wall of Fame. For everyone else, the effects are well known: sweating, hiccups, tearing eyes, and in some cases medical attention due to extreme capsaicin overload. 7 dishes, 7 regions, from preserving food on ships to a curry that requires protective gear to prepare. Each one began with necessity and ended as an obsession. That's all for today's video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment how many of these dishes you already knew, and share this video with your loved ones.